So back to some more general questions about evolution. Has your experience been that as you've learned about these things, it's been gradual increase in adding building block by building block, or have you had Eureka moments in your time in Galapagos?
Like Darwin's? He wrote something like this. I remember the exact spot on my sandwalk when I realized, and then goes on and talks about realizing the significance of Malthus's doctrine. Yeah. No, I don't. You may have, but I haven't had a Eureka moment like that. But we have had moments where things seem to have fallen into place and suddenly become more interpretable than previously. Indications that natural selection was actually going on in 1977 during the drought, and then again in 2004 when we had another very severe drought. That's the closest to the Eureka moment. And sometimes using the computer to analyze data, you have this thought in your mind, I wonder if A is associated with B. You tap in your commands to the computer, and yes, you discover it. Is that a Eureka moment? Not really, but it's a moment of discovery, small scale, for the Eureka moment that we like to glorify in the scientific literature. But how many people have Eureka moments? Have you had one?
Not really. I had a moment in Galapagos that was certainly things sort of fell in place. I know you know Howard Snell. We were both working on land iguanas in Galapagos. He was working on the small island of Plaza, which is a very small island, but it's sloped like this. It goes up, and there's a big cliff on this side, and he was studying iguanas nesting in different parts of the island. And some of them were nesting at the very top, where it's very dry, and a lot of the eggs die because it's too dry, or they hatch out and they're with deformities. And we were there and looking at these nests, and all of a sudden a nest, hatchlings started emerging from the nest, and one came out and it was badly deformed. It could run, but it had a twisted spine, so it couldn't run in a straight line. It ran in circles, and we were trying to catch it to take measurements, and there were three of us sort of like Keystone cops running behind this iguana in circles like this, ever increasing circles, until finally it went over the edge of the cliff, and we just stopped at the edge of the cliff, thankfully, and looked at each other and said, "My gosh, we've just seen natural selection." So I guess that's probably
Even more if one of you had dropped off.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.